the Trijicon TA44 ACSS Reticle scope. Let's check it out. Guys, there are times where I come across something that is a total paradigm shift. I mean, it changes the way that I look at things. You know, I might see it and know a lot of the details about it, but once I take it out to the field, it just blows me away. That's one of the things that I've come across lately with the Trijicon. This is the TA44. It has the ACSS Reticle. It's a brand new optic from Trijicon and Primary Arms. This scope, to me, when I first heard 1.5X, I thought, so what? I mean, that's almost useless. You know, you kind of think that. In fact, when I posted this on my Instagram account and Facebook, I got some of the similar kind of comments. Is why? I mean, what kind of advantages are you going to get? We're going to look at some real world advantages with the 1.5X in the Trijicon glass, and that has a lot to do with it. But also, you guys know, if you follow the channel, the ACSS Reticle is ingenious, and it's hands down, it's my favorite. And of course, if Trijicon is making optics with that reticle system, that says a lot about the reticle. The Trijicon TA44 is a compact ACOG. It has all the same features that the ACOG has, but at 1.5 power. And if you're like me, sometimes if I have an interest in something, I'll jump over to the website and check it out. But I'm going to have a link down below that you can get this optic with a QD mount and free shipping, and the link's down below. And these are only available at Primary Arms. One thing that I love immediately about this optic is it's really small on the rifle. You know, we're trying to get our rifles down small, lightweight as much as possible. And of course, this Tavor is very compact. A nice compact scope on there. And whether it's on the Tavor or on this BCM AR-15, it just has a very small footprint compared to the standard ACOG, which is quite a bit larger. Now, I have one of the American Defense QD mounts. I really like these mounts for the money, and of course the Midwest Industries QD mount is also a choice. But I love this system because I can take it off, and just like I showed the Tavor, I can throw it right on the Tavor, and it just is a great system and something that I really love having. Now, here are a few of the Trijicon optics for comparison. We have the MRO, which is a standard red dot, 1 power. Then we have the TA44 with the ACSS, and this is a 1.5 power. We have the 4x32 Trijicon ACOG, also the ACSS Reticle, and then we have the TA11H. This is a 3.5 magnification. One of the great things about this optic in particular is that it has a longer eye relief than your standard ACOG, which is only 1.5 inches, and it's known to have that really short eye relief. You get a little bit extra here, and also with the TA44 we have about a 2.5 inch eye relief, which gives this a nice advantage. Then of course with the MRO you have unlimited eye relief. But this just gives you kind of an idea of the size between the four. This is 4 inches, whereas your standard Trijicon is 6 inches. Now, to me, one big concern when I first got this optic was why not just go with the standard red dot? I mean, 1.5 power, I mean, it seems almost useless. But there's a couple of things about it. And again, I kind of mentioned this at the beginning, but it bears repeating. With the standard 1.5 power, even with this really good MRO with the Trijicon glass, you're getting the sight picture, it's fine, but at 300 yards, you're really having to kind of focus in on that 300. Even with the 1.5 magnification, it just really brings in the target. It gives it, again, more contrast, more clarity. It made a huge difference. In fact, it really shocked me when I brought it up at the 300 yard mark. So this is giving you that advantage, and yet at those 50-yard and under engagement situations, you're still going to be able to get on target quick with the 1.5. Yeah, the MRO is going to give you a little faster target acquisition. It does have a little bit of a larger objective lens, but really it's not that much of a difference. And considering the advantage of the 1.5 power, I think this gives a clear advantage with the 1.5 power. One other thing that I do want to note is that the MRO is battery powered. Now it has the 50,000 hour battery life, so you can leave it on that low setting. With the Trijicon TA44, you have the fiber optic and you have tritium inside. And I think the tritium is guaranteed for 12 years. And you can send it back to Trijicon later. In fact, I've done that with an ACOG, and they'll replenish it. But the big thing is you have that low light capability. It's really light. And then you have the fiber optic for daylight bright. One thing about the fiber optic though is, especially in super bright sunlight, it can actually wash out the reticle. But I found that with the TA44, because of the size of the lens and everything, it doesn't wash it out as much as your standard ACOG. And the same concept will go also with the Aimpoint T2. This is an excellent optic. The glass is really nice. But again, you're getting a lot of advantage with this half power, I'm telling you, magnification. Now with the standard 4 power ACOG, you're getting a little bit more of an objective lens. You're getting the little bit higher magnification, and out at distance you're going to have advantages with the magnification. I mean, 4X is good. Even in close quarter, you can find that reticle pretty quickly with this optic. But obviously a lot of guys put RMRs on the back here and mount them up for a good reason, because it really helps to get on even faster. With 4 power, when you're working at 50 yards and less, it gets a little difficult when you're transitioning from target to target. You seem to want to go past it. You don't really see the next one. With the 1.5 power, I didn't find that. I was able to keep both eyes open, be able to look and find my target a lot faster than I would with a 4 power. Now just some details about the optic. It's 4 inches in length. It weighs about 5 ounces without the mount. It does come in a low mount without this little tunnel that you can see your sights. It is a hard anodized 7075 T6 aluminum body. And Trijicon does a fantastic job with these. I mean, the matte finish is just gorgeous. It's impeccable. The glass is super clear, and of course it's coated, but it's just, Trijicon is known for their superior glass. It has the fiber optic rod right on top. This is in the green. It does come in the red as well, and that will give you illumination with sunlight or any light. It picks up light whether you're inside or out. And then inside is a tritium insert, so when there is no light, you still have a faint glow for your sight. And if you're in really dark conditions, it'll show up very well. The caps here on either side are tethered, and they do have the toolless design. So when I need to turn it, it's tactile and it's audible. With the brass rings, it's just very well made. And of course for windage and elevation. This is submersible up to 30 meters and of course built like a tank. These things have been through all kind of torture tests. The U.S. Marine Corps uses the standard 4X by 32 ACOGs for years, and the quality of this sight is no different. Of course, it does have the American Defense Manufacturing QD mount on here, which is some of my favorites. I mean, the price and the quality is just excellent. They do offer the Midwest Industries mount as well on the Primary Arms website. And again, if you buy it at the Primary Arms website, which the ACSS is only available there at primaryarms.com, you also get either a choice between this mount or the Midwest Industries mount, and you get free shipping. Now here's the picture that you'll see. That first target, the black target's at 200 yards, the white target's at 300. And that's about the way it looks through the scope. But that little dot is small, and with that horseshoe it just brings that target in. I mean, I wasn't having any trouble hitting that target at 300 yards, and that's at 1.5 power. So I think the reticle has a lot to do with it, and of course with the bullet drop compensation, you can really range it out. So targets even farther than this can be hit. And again, Dimitri demonstrates that very well on the Primary Arms YouTube channel. Now here we have the ACSS reticle that's in the TA44, and you'll notice the chevron tip, and that is really important because that is an infinity point. You can put that tip on your target and you're ready to fire. And at the tip you range from 1 to 200 yards. Down at the bottom of the chevron you go to 300, and then below that the mark is 400, and then at the bottom of the donut, which goes around, that's 500 yards. Now you'll notice the lines that go below the reticle. This is for range estimation, and if a man is standing on that bottom line, if his head reaches the very top, he's at 300 yards. If you bring in a man and he's at feet at the bottom and ranging up to the 400 yard, that means he's at 400 yards, and then we have 500 yards. Now each line represents 18 inches, and that's about the size of a chest going across. And so if he's prone or if he's kneeling, you can just range his shoulder width with those lines and be able to get on target. And that's a very important element in the ACSS, is being able to range estimate. The large donut that circles around is what you need to focus your eye and to get quickly on target. Now the TA44 ACSS reticle needs to be sighted in at 50 yards. Once you get it at 50 yards, you'll be 1 inch high at 100 yards and dead on at 200 yards. This will also work with a number of different calibers, including, of course, 5.56, also 5.45 by 3.9. It'll also work with your 308. There's some ranging adjustment that you need to do just to sight it in, but then it should be on. And this will also work with 7.62 by 3.9. And you can go to the owner's manual to check how to sight those other calibers in. And this is a 5-shot group at 50 yards to sight my rifle in. I did it with Freedom Munitions 55 grain full metal jacket. I want to thank Freedom Munitions for sponsoring the ammo. You get a 5% discount using Suit00 when you purchase it on Freedom Munitions website. Now at the range is really where everything kind of came together for me for this optic. You know, again, I was thinking 1 to 5 power, that's not really a lot of advantage. It is a Trijicon, so I know the glass is really crisp, which makes a big difference. But, you know, really making it practical out at the range, is this worth the effort? We were shooting at targets from 1 to 300 yards, and I was having no trouble whatsoever hitting the 300 yard steel with this optic, whereas with even a standard red dot I can hit the 300, but I still have to really kind of focus in. Because of the clarity of the glass, it made this a very crisp picture. And two, with that slight 1.5 magnification, it just seemed to bring it in a little bit. Also, the contrast was even better. So it made it really easy to go from 1 to 2 to 300 yards, of course, because of the ACSS reticle system. And of course, Dimitri is taking it on out to 500 yards with no problem. Of course, then you go into your CQB, or your close-up targets. And that's one of the things that a 1X really, excels in. You can bring the scope up, you don't have to fish and look around for your targets. You can bring them up and you can see them through the 1X with both eyes open. With this reticle, even though it's a 1.5 power, obviously it's not that much more magnification, and it was just as easy to get to those targets. I didn't have to kind of look, and when I was transitioning from one to the other, I didn't lose the targets. And so to me, with the combination of the CQB being able to see, and then yet being able to range out to 300, 400, 500 yards, it makes this scope an excellent candidate just for your CQB or your home defense rifle. Of course, the scope, being an ACOG, being built like a tank, being submersible, shock proof, and all the things that go into ACOG, it really gives you a lot of confidence to put it on that go-to rifle. Yes, it's a fairly expensive optic, but guys, I'm telling you, it's well worth it. It's like all the Trijicon scopes I've owned. Yes, at the beginning there's a pretty good sting, but about 10 years later you're thinking, I am sure glad that I bought that optic. Now to find this scope, you go to primaryarms.com. I'll have the link down below, and that link will take you to a free shipping and plus a free American Defense mount, or you can get one of the Midwest Industries QD mounts. And so that makes it really great. You know, save you well over $100 right up front. And that's only if you click on the link below. I'm working together with Primary Arms on this and just thought this would be a great thing to offer you guys. Primary Arms is really doing a lot with their ACSS reticle. Of course, Trijicon is legendary for their quality in the glass and their construction of their optics. It's the reason why the Marine Corps uses the standard ACOG as their issued optic. And so you can't go wrong. Yes, again, it's a little bit more expensive. In fact, it runs $1,032 on the Primary Arms website. But once you get the free mount, you get the free shipping. It takes a little bit off, but I'm telling you guys, you will not regret the purchase. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Now here are a few of my Trijicon. Okay, it's 1 to 5 power. You still are happy with this little guy. Okay. Man, this is such a cool looking optic, and even my daughter thinks it's cute.